Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that Earth's temperature isn't just rising a little, it's rising continuously. Every year is hotter than the last, not by fractions of a degree, but by enough that scientists, governments, and entire cities begin to panic. What would happen if Earth's temperature kept increasing? Would humans adapt? Would civilization survive? Or would our planet eventually become unrecognizable? Let's find out. At first, the changes might seem manageable. A global temperature increase of just 1 degree Celsius doesn't sound dramatic. After all, temperatures in your city can change by 10 or 15 degrees in a single day. But global temperature is different. 1 degree across the entire planet represents an enormous amount of added heat. Heat waves become more frequent. Wildfires become larger and harder to control. Storms gain more energy from warmer oceans. Places already struggling with high temperatures begin to face dangerous conditions more often. As temperatures rise by 2 degrees, agriculture begins to face serious challenges. Some crops can no longer grow efficiently in regions where they once thrived. Droughts become longer. Water shortages affect millions of people. Farmers are forced to adapt, relocate, or abandon certain lands altogether. Meanwhile, glaciers around the world continue shrinking. Mountain communities that rely on glacier-fed rivers start experiencing reduced water supplies. The planet isn't ending, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to live in many places. At 3 degrees of warming, the oceans begin to play a major role. Water expands as it heats. Combined with melting ice sheets, sea levels continue rising. Coastal flooding becomes a regular problem rather than a rare disaster. Some island nations face existential threats. Major coastal cities invest billions in seawalls and flood defenses. Others simply can't keep up. Entire communities may eventually need to relocate inland. For the first time in human history, climate migration begins affecting hundreds of millions of people. At 4 degrees of warming, today's record-breaking weather could become routine. Heat waves that once occurred once every century happen every few years. Tropical storms become capable of carrying more moisture and energy. Flooding events become more severe. In some regions, outdoor work becomes dangerous for large portions of the year. Infrastructure designed for a cooler climate begins failing under new conditions. Roads buckle, power grids struggle, water systems come under stress. The world enters a new climate reality. Nature begins reaching its limits. Coral reefs suffer widespread bleaching. Many species struggle to adapt fast enough. Animals migrate toward cooler regions. Some ecosystems transform completely. Forests that once absorbed carbon may begin releasing it due to fires and decay. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The warmer Earth becomes, the harder it becomes for natural systems to help cool it down. And feedback loops are where things start getting truly concerning. Here's where Earth's climate becomes especially complicated. Ice reflects sunlight. When ice melts, darker land and ocean absorb more heat. That extra heat melts even more ice. This is known as a positive feedback loop. Another example comes from frozen ground called permafrost. For thousands of years, vast amounts of carbon have remained trapped in frozen soils. As temperatures rise, some of that carbon may be released into the atmosphere, which causes additional warming, which releases even more carbon. It's like a thermostat that starts turning itself higher and higher. At 7 or 8 degrees of warming, Earth would still be habitable, but not necessarily for civilization as we know it. Some regions could experience temperatures and humidity levels that become dangerous for humans without air conditioning or shelter. Large population centers might shift toward cooler latitudes. Food production zones move. Water resources change. Economic systems built over centuries face enormous pressure. Humanity would likely survive, but our world map, our cities, and our lifestyles could look dramatically different. What if warming continued even further? 10 degrees, 12 degrees, more. At these levels, Earth starts resembling climates not seen for tens of millions of years. Many modern ecosystems disappear. Sea levels eventually rise much higher than today. Vast coastal regions become submerged over long timescales. The challenge is no longer simply adapting, it's rebuilding civilization around a fundamentally different planet. Thankfully, scientists do not expect such extreme warming in the near future. But understanding these possibilities helps us appreciate how sensitive Earth's climate really is. Whenever people discuss extreme warming, one question always appears: could Earth become Venus? Venus is hot enough to melt lead. Its surface temperature exceeds 460 degrees Celsius. Fortunately, current scientific understanding suggests that human-caused climate change is not expected to transform Earth into a second Venus. Our planet's atmosphere, oceans, and distance from the sun are very different. But that doesn't mean rising temperatures are harmless. A world doesn't need to become Venus to face enormous challenges. Earth's climate has always changed, but what makes today's warming unique is the speed. The less time ecosystems, infrastructure, and societies have to adapt. The future isn't written yet. The choices humanity makes today will help determine how warm tomorrow becomes. And perhaps the most fascinating part is this: for the first time in history, an entire species understands that it can influence the future climate of its own planet. What do you think would be the biggest challenge in a hotter world? Let us know in the comments. And if you're curious about the science behind our changing planet, don't forget to subscribe, because the next question might be even more incredible.